Brother Ron, and welcome to We All Be News Radio and TV, the news-free Dixie for the 21st century.
Greetings, family. Welcome to another one, a wonderful, entertaining edition of The Art of It Stinks. Dot Provocateur. Brother Ron speaks. This is your host for the empowerment segment, Brother Ron, also known as R2C2H2 The Art of It. This is the We All Be News Free Dixie Zone, where knowledge is the currency of the universe. So, welcome, boys and girls, ladies and gents, scholars and laymen, to the woke, the wokish, to the sleep and the sheeple. This is your brother, Brother Ron. Once again, as you all know, August 19th, 2020 marked the 3rd year anniversary of our one and only Jegna, Brother Baba Dick Gregory, transitioning into a righteous ancestor. And it's like Dick has not went anywhere. He's omnipresent. It's crazy. I feel his presence everywhere I go. I could look at a movie and somebody might make a Dick Gregory reference. I could go with somebody home and somebody said, well, you know, this is Brother Ron. He had a working friendship with Baba Dick Gregory, and somebody would point to their wall and say, hey, I met Baba Dick back in 1982 in Chicago or something. It's some stuff like that. So it's very amazing. I feel his love, his warmth, his amazing energy all around us. He's more powerful as a righteous ancestor than even when he was in the flesh. I mean, he left us as 84 years young. I really do wish he was still here, but he's still here, if you know what I mean. And with the passage of time, a lot of things that he spoke about has become prophecy, or he prophesies about has become a reality, rather. You know, we're looking at the fact that Donald Trump may be the last president under this so-called U.S. Constitution to be elected. Or there will be, it might not be, or may not be an election this year, this fall, because of the COVID pandemic, or whatever you want to call it, crisis going on, where really ruined the economy of the world, not just of America, but really is a hard economic reset. And we might be facing a food shortage crisis, because like Baba Dick will always say, the leading cause of death during World War II was actually starvation. So a lot of things have come to pass. Now they have admitted, the Pentagon, that UFOs are real. People say aliens are real. They recently discovered a parallel universe. And people say, well, Brother Ron says, I said, Google is your friend for now. Use Google. That's one thing we got to learn as a people in this period. Stop putting people on pedestals. Stop creating cult of personalities around messengers. Treat them like your everyday mailman and mailwoman. You don't follow the mailman or mailwoman around on his or her route. You go to your mailbox and get the mail that was meant for you. So in times like these, we must follow that type of understanding. I call it the mailman theory. You know, you don't treat the mailman as a superstar or a superhero and all that stuff. You treat him as an everyday person doing his or her job, and you do your job and get the message that was meant for you in your mailbox. So this is how we got to treat people. Baba Dick Gregory warned us about, you know, entrusting these weaponized black celebrities or celebrities in general, or with our lives, trusting them to make the right decisions for everybody when they're just entertainers, they're just court jesters. They're used for distraction and deflection, not any reflection or any revolutionary purpose. And he'd be quick to tell people that. So with that said, I just want to get my thoughts 3 years later after this transition of our righteous ancestor, Jegna Baba Dick Gregory. And you know, I always got this thing that Dick, I remember he telling me in Kansas City that he was more famous right now than he was in his prime as a young man. Being one of the highest paid entertainers in the world. They had more reach because back then you only had 3 networks Now you got the internet, which they're trying to shut down slowly but surely. They're trying to scrub out knowledge and information, trying to suppress and repress certain voices, including myself, from getting out there to be amplified by the masses. But the show goes on. We adjust and we keep it moving. The marathon continues. But he told me in Kansas City after the show, it's back in August of 2016, and a year later, in August of 2017, he would be dead, and for some under questionable circumstances. But we'll talk about that as well in this segment. And so he told me, Brother Ron, I'm more popular now than I was back then because of shows like yours, platforms like yours, because of the internet. I have been reintroduced to a new generation of people. I call us the creatively maladjusted. Dr. King once said that human salvation lies in the hands of the creatively maladjusted, and I'm a proud member of that because I refuse to get sane in an insane system. How can you be sane within an insane system? What's right is wrong, and what's wrong is right. Everything is upside down in a world that does not respect a person's full humanity. So I say that with love. And I was shocked like anybody else when I heard the news that Baba made his transition. Because I had talked to Christian, his son, his manager, just maybe 24, 48 hours before through via text. And it assumed that, I got from him that everything was all good, that Baba was making a great recovery and he was going to hit the road again. My last time seeing Baba was Mother's Day 2017 at a club in St. Louis, his hometown. Maxine Waters was there. Some of Black St. Louis's elite was in attendance. And it was packed. They even added an extra set to the show. And it was fascinating. I'm going to save most of the details for my book on that one because it was an amazing night. It was probably the best set I ever seen Baba do. The last set he did, which was an add-on set, was probably the best set I ever seen him do in my life. I wish I recorded it. I didn't. But he was like in his zone. But, what's interesting at the time when I saw him, when he came to the comedy club, he was actually running late because he was just coming from the plane, from the airport. So he's, 84 years young. 84, I don't care how energetic and sprightly people assume Baba was. 84 is still 84, y'all. You know what I'm saying? And he's coming out for a plane, flying cross country as an 84-year-old man. Didn't get a chance to relax at the hotel. They speeded him they sped him to the comedy store directly from the airport. And he about to get on stage less than 20 minutes. And I'm being generous with the less than 20 minutes time. So this guy has not having time to just relax, to get in a certain mood. He's all heightened up, tensions are high. He's short with people. He's irritable. It's understood. It's overstood. You look back on it, why he would be irritable. Because he said these folks pay their good money for him to make them laugh. They want to get drunk. They want to eat food. And they want to laugh. And he had to be in his zone. He could get in his zone because everybody's making noise around him. So he was short with people that day, And it shouldn't be taken personal because, like I said, I just described, he's an 84-year-old man coming directly from the airport to the venue without any type of break in between. And they're running behind on time. And they added another show to the shows he already guaranteed to do. So it's overstood. And, the shows were packed because he was very much in demand. It was Mother's Day 2017. And now driven up from Memphis. Or driven down. Yeah, I've driven up from Memphis because St. Louis is north of Memphis. Up the Lazy River. So I've driven up that day. I was told by Dr. Christian Gregory, his son, just to watch out for his father, that he had relatives in attendance watching out for him as well. So that's what I did. So I stayed for all the sets. Like I said, the last set was golden. And Dick, we said our goodbyes, took our pictures. I didn't know that was going to be the final picture. And he asked me if I was going to go to Little Rock. I think the next month he was doing a show in Little Rock. It's ironic that his last show, I believe, was Little Rock. He went back to Little Rock again. And the next thing you know, he was in the hospital after that. But that first time, he asked me if I'm going to be there. I told him, yeah. But then, we had a little thing at the end of that night, kind of sour things. But I'm glad that in spite of it all, we left on a good note. Like, we said we love each other and we parted ways. So next thing you know, a couple months later, I'm hearing Baba Dick Gregory died. And I'm in shock like everybody else because, you think guys like that can live forever in spite of all the things he's overcome in his life, all the stuff, the setbacks, a setback is set up for a comeback, that he'll make it out this one. Especially it was what they said, urinary tract infection, something like that. So it was shocking. And also I paid my respects in person. I went to the funeral, to the wake and stuff. Paid my respects, and man, that was a tough year. But I'm glad to know that in August of 2020, people still remember Baba Dick Gregory, partly because of the work I have done at We All Be. And let me set the record straight. Baba Dick Gregory, he always gave me credit. I got to record it. He called me the feeder, y'all. He anointed me as the feeder of our people, the knowledge. And also, I remember when we did the Django movie review. Like, around this time, I was going through a tough breakup. It was weird. I was dating a Sagittarius. I tried to surprise her. It didn't work out. And she never talked to me again after during Christmas time. And I was kind of depressed. Went to the movie, saw Django Unchained. Around this time, I really took a break from doing We All Be media, news, podcast, whatever. I was kind of burnt out by the whole thing because the year before, in 2011, I had actually did independent investigative journalism to a hanging in Mississippi, which really was a lynching of this young black man named Frederick Jermaine Carter. He was found hanging from a tree the first Friday in December of 2010 in a white affluent neighborhood near the Tallahatchie River in Greenwood, Mississippi. The same Tallahatchie River in LaFleur County where they pulled the body of Emmett Till out the water that was bloated and really just decomposed and all types of face. You saw his face that launched the civil rights movement. But yeah, it was weird because the guy was on a painting job with his stepfather. He disappeared, and for 48 hours he was missing until they found him hanging from a tree in the middle of the day. But the crazy thing about it, he was hanging from a tree next to a dog kennel by a pathway that people would take to jog and walk, do nature walks. But that morning, nobody seen his body hanging from the tree. But by noon, it was hanging from the tree. The coroner claimed that he was dead for at least 24 to 48 hours. But if his body wasn't there the whole day on Friday, where was he actually killed? And who hanged him from that tree? And I got all that information. You go on my We All Be TV for the Frederick Jermaine Carter playlist. I actually did a extensive several-part series blog on the case on my weallbe.org website. You probably Google up weallbe.org or We All Be Frederick Jermaine Carter. And I was the only organization to do any extensive work that way. Because, Nation of Islam, to their credit, they did run his photo of him hanging from the tree on the front of the final call in December. They helped to organize his final homegoing in Mississippi. They provided, assistance to the family. So I give Minister Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam credit for bringing more eyes to this story, because the USA Today, I remember when it first came out, said hanging in Mississippi, and then within 48 hours it said it was a suicide or whatever. And I'm saying they didn't even do no examination by the medical state examiner. So it was really We All Be that talked to Dr. Adele Shaker, who was a world-renowned forensic scientist who became the state's medical examiner during that year. I had talked to him early in 2011. It was weird because it's like God, man. The universe, so God uses you. You don't know when and how. Sometimes it leaves no fingerprints of you being used. But I called Adele Shaker the Thursday or Friday, and on the same day he mailed out the results of what he found in his report about Frederick Jermaine Carter to the family. And he said he didn't rule it as a suicide, but as a hanging pending investigation. And by him being such an honest broker, it cost him his job. So he lost his job because he refused to rule in the way that the powers that be wanted him to rule in a case like that, and on several other cases. They basically ran him out the state. And he was a world-renowned forensic scientist from Africa. So yeah, and I found out just dealing with people involved in the case, I was so disillusioned by the whole process. I was so naive about how things were really done. And so it burnt me out, and so I took a break from really doing my We All Be News thing for almost a year. And I remember I went to DC back in June of 2012. Now I was interviewing Baba Dick Gregory since 2011. But I went to DC in June 2012 to actually meet him. And we met at Sankofa Cafe in Washington D.C. Near Howard University campus. So we met. It was a good meet, but I tried myself recording him. I'm a novice, I'm self-taught on this stuff. People will sometimes complain about the audio quality and other stuff. Self-taught dude, man. I ain't going no film school. I ain't going no school for this stuff. It just like I just was inspired to say, you know what, I want to record people's stories and share it with the world. And I was naive, and I thought that what I had, I didn't have a microphone hooked up to the camera. So my sister and her friends were there. They always excited to meet Mr. Gregory like I was. And so I thought I had the stuff recorded right, and you couldn't hear nothing but the background. And so I said, man. And I caught myself uploading to YouTube. People made fun of it. Some people said I could hear a little bit, but man, it's a waste. I said it was a waste, and I was depressed about that a little bit. So I said, well, let me just take a break from all this altogether. So, I got involved with a former college friend, or not really a friend, but classmate. We kind of hooked up over a tragedy. We lost a phenomenal Jegna, and we kind of reconnected bonding over the loss of our Jegna, the late great Dean James McLeod of Washington University, St. Louis. He had a little whirlwind thing. She was a Sagittarius. I'm a Taurus. It was kind of weird. Sagittarius got their thing they do, where they kind of, they lose interest and they fly away. They kind of like, non-committal. And I'm not saying for all Sagittarius, but Tauruses, we like to, do what Tauruses do. So it didn't work out. So I was kind of bummed. It was holidays, and let me look at some Django. Let me go to the movie and check out this Django movie. Thought it was unique. It was like, different. It's Quentin Tarantino's treatment on slavery, which was unique in its own way, And something told me, let me call Dick Gregory and get his assessment. I think it was like the beginning of 2013. Maybe it was late December or early January. Well, I spoke to Dick Gregory since that summer period. I said, I'm going to redeem myself. So we talked about an hour, and I asked him about Django. And I edited it. I edited the conversation, and I put out that movie review he did on Django as a standalone video segment. Didn't think nothing of it. Then, like within 24 hours, Dick calls me with his wife on the phone, Lil. He said, Ron, have you heard, man? We went viral, man. We went viral. It went everywhere, man. I got called from Quentin Tarantino, Jamie Foxx, Reginald Hudlin, and some other people thanking me for my review of Django. And I just want to thank you. And if you need anything or everything, whatever you need from me, Lil will let me know. We'll make it happen. So it's kind of like, man, I started getting calls from around the country, news organizations. People started writing about this review that Dick, he called out Spike Lee, called him a thug, punk, whatever. You know how Dick does. He calls everybody a thug, punk. He just like got this way with words and terminology. So it went like all over the place, man. Everybody picked it up. People was ringing my phone off the hook, and really I know it was not about me. It was more about they want to get in touch with Dick Gregory. It's like a Dick Gregory renaissance. Like people been sleeping on him for a while, and all of a sudden people just got hip again. And people gotta understand that this Dick just turned 80 in 2012, and there's a phenomenon. If you study, all this stuff, the zodiac and numerology, all that stuff, astrology, it's a phenomenon they call Uranus return. Well, if you live long enough, let's say you get into your 80s, you start receiving your flowers. All the work that you have done over your life now gets a fresh perspective. People start noticing what you have done over your life, and now it's time for you to get your flowers before it's too late. So I look at this period from like 2013 all the way to 2017, that 4-year period as a Dick Gregory renaissance, where he was finally getting his due for all the great work he did over his lifetime. And you look at Dick Gregory, he's like a Forrest Gump with a brain. It's like you can't believe it, all the people he knew and all the people that he helped and all the things he helped initiate and inspire. This one black man, this one human being A great, phenomenal man, exceptional human being. You just could never say too much about Baba Dick Gregory, because most of it will be true. So with that said, he thanked me for reintroducing him to a new audience, to a younger generation. And I'm not taking no braggadocious. This is actual true. A lot of folks didn't know who Dick Gregory was, younger people, until that Django thing took off. And then we started interviewing him more, and he started becoming more colorful and more, it's like, people know what, Brother Ron, he used to go off on you and stuff like that. It used to bother me to a certain point, but you understand what he been through as a human being, all the things he done for people, all the friends he lost before the age of 40. I mean, a lot of his great friends like Malcolm and Martin and Medgar Evers didn't make it to 40. The things he been through, being beaten up and jailed and harassed, his family being attacked, death threats, all these things he been through. Then you will understand why he was kind of angry he was angry at the end. And then his health issues that I want to talk about in this segment, because I think people got a lot of misconceptions about stuff. And I'm going to talk about one person in particular, Brother Darren Muhammad out of Baltimore, State of the City. Let me give him some little promo. But I want to also put things in perspective, what he been saying about me. Every time there's an anniversary of Dick's death, he can't keep my name out of his mouth. But he won't invite me on his show to clarify what he thinks he knows about me and my thought process. And it ends here with me. This probably be, I'm going to say what I got to say about him and the situation. And we'll let it be on that, because, you ain't going to speak ill on me, bro. We all had our relationships with Baba Dick Gregory. He thought the world of you, but at the same time, you're not above criticism and how you handle things, how you deal with people in order to get what you want. There's certain ways you do things when you work with people, and there's certain things you don't do if you expect somebody to work with you. So we're going to handle that as well in this segment, Memphis and Baltimore, okay? So with that said, Baba Dick Gregory was happy, and also I started calling him Baba. Now, you got some old heads and elders that say, well, we were calling him Baba back then, but nah, I reintroduced that term Baba to a new generation of people, because I would hear people in Memphis call certain elders who were of respect and of accomplishment, who did things for the community. They called them Baba. Sometimes they call you Doc when they can't remember your name. That's Memphis thing, man. We came up with the man. But they'll call you Doc or man this and golly. I heard that growing up. Also, I heard Baba. When we talked about the great elders in our community who did work for the people, who dedicated their lives to empowering the people, we call them Baba. So I started calling Baba on my podcast when I interview him, and people start calling him Baba. And they can say what they want to say, but I'm going to put my history out there. I'm like Little Richard, I invented rock and roll, but he didn't invent rock and roll, but hell, I made a lot of contributions. It's like, cats start interviewing Dick Gregory after he started appearing on We All Be, and one of the reasons why was that I made it easy for other folks to contact Dick. You know what I'm saying? He told me to put his contact information out there for the people. One thing about Dick, he was a real public servant. He always had his phone number listed in the white pages. People don't know that, because a lot of people don't research. A lot of us don't take the time just to do for self and research a lot of things. We want a talking head to tell us. We could read something in 5 minutes, but we rather have a talking head tell us something that we could read in 5 minutes. Take their time telling us in 2 hours or an hour. That's how messed up and programmed we are as a people, in particular black people, as people in general. So with that said, he was always listed in the phone book, but he told me, Brother Ron, put my stuff out there, my fax number, my phone number. And Lil was his secretary. She was his confidant, his partner, and this whole thing. A beautiful woman who came from a beautiful background. Her father was a preacher, a very prominent preacher in Ohio, who went around opening up churches around the state. So he was a renowned minister in Ohio who made it his business to open up churches in the state of Ohio. So she came from a very interesting background, that of a preacher man. So I would put that out, and I was naive by a lot of stuff. I just got obsessed with putting stuff out there, getting Dick opinion on things, cutting up the conversations to video segments. I didn't get this on Vlad TV. I just did it out of necessity, because Dick had so much great information. And he'd tell me in an hour or 2 or 3 hours, I would just want to cut it up for the people. And he talked about something, because he was so far ranging in his subject matter he talked about. And so I said, let me just cut up for people. And that's what I started doing. And so people started learning about Dick Gregory and Dickology. I'm a Gregologist, Dick Gregoriologist. But they started learning from Dick Gregory from We All Be, and people started booking Dick Gregory from that. People started getting more gigs in terms of lecture circuit, in terms of, just getting on their show, podcasts and stuff. I shared the wealth. I didn't hoard it. I imagine I might be more financially successful if I hoarded the information, if I played keep away with how to get Baba Dick Gregory to the people. But a lot of folks have benefited more than I have in terms of this subscribers and other things from getting in touch with Baba Dick Gregory. And that's okay. The universe, sometimes like Baba Dick Gregory said, the universe, so God, don't always leave a fingerprint or evidence, but there are the results. So I guess that speaks for himself, for themselves. The results do. And that's the evidence. But, I shared the information. People grew their platforms, had them on a regular basis. I had them on my platform. I have hours and hours of Dick Gregory stuff because he was very generous with his time. He wanted to share the information he had in his head with the world. He actually educated generation and more generations to come because he was such a giver. He was a true humanitarian. And there's a difference between being a humanitarian and being a philanthropist. To be a humanitarian, you really got to have a love for the people. You give the best of who you are to the people out of love for the people. You could be a philanthropist and hate people. Oh, I hate people, but I'm going to write this big check and make me look a good guy. You understand what I'm saying? You can also be a philanthropist and humanitarian, but Dick was such a great humanitarian that a lot of things he should have been compensated for financially, he just gave away. It's like Dr. George Washington Carver. All these inventions and innovations he made, he didn't get no patent on that. Can you imagine how many patents Dr. George Washington Carver would have had, if Tuskegee Institute inherited his patents, his intellectual property, their endowment probably be bigger than all the Ivy League schools combined. Dr. George Washington Carver did not live for the money. I talked to folks who went to Tuskegee. They told me that Dr. George Washington Carver was the type of person that when he got paid, he just keep the checks in his dresser drawer. And so with a student or somebody needed money, he said, go give one of my checks and, I'll sign it over to you. So he just had a love for science and love for helping people, like Baba Dick did with his Bahamian diet and all that stuff. Helped a lot of people. Dr. Fulton up in Chicago helped him become an effective dietitian and all that stuff. So Dick had a journey. He was weighed over 300 pounds one time, chain smoking, drinking all types of liquor. I remember I met, when I interviewed the late, great Reverend C.T. Vivian, who we lost in this year, 2020, horror movie of a year. I interviewed him about Dick Gregory and his thoughts. Like, he actually spent more time with me talking about Dick Gregory than he did at Dick's funeral. He actually just got up on stage at Dick's funeral and said some very, very short and to the point, which is unusual for a black preacher. And he just sat down. People were shocked. I mean, he really had a short speech about Dick. But in our conversation, he gave me about an hour. He talking about how Dick and Muhammad Ali was working out. Dick helped save Muhammad Ali's career, helped him train better, give him a better diet at one point. He also helped Riddick Bowe with his diet and training. And when he became a world heavyweight champion, Dick had an unusual life. He helped a lot of people. He helped Marion Barry. When they trying to frame him, the government trying to frame him by smoking crack, he helped him detox. Because they almost killed Marion Barry. They were trying to kill him that night when they later gave him that crack to smoke. He never smoked crack before in his life and almost killed him. What happened, he was blessed to fall back from receiving the full impact of the crack. Because the government was ready to have a press release the next day saying that he OD'd and stuff like that to discredit his name. And we got to talk about Marion Barry in a different conversation or podcast segment, but Marion Barry took the time in his autobiography to shout out Dick Gregory, who put him in a tub full of ice and some other things to detox his body from the poisons of that encounter with the pipe. So anyway, Dick was amazing. And Reverend C.T. Vivian told me when he first met Dick in the movement, Dick was over 300 pounds. He was smoking like crazy, like a chimney. He was drinking like a sailor. So the amazing transformation of Dick Gregory to what we know as now Baba, this guru of living and of excelling at the highest level. A lot of people don't know he was big like that. So, Dick was amazing. He was a shapeshifter. He was a Tom, as he called himself. And he told us the real reason, or the real definition of Uncle Tom was not a sellout, but a person who was a race man who would put his life on the line for his race, to promote the race, to protect the race. So we reclaim the narrative in the Uncle Tom thing. So yeah, Dick was happy. His Uranus return. He was enjoying it. He had 4 good years to enjoy that Uranus return and receive all his flowers. I remember one of the last times I met with Dick was around his birthday. I went to his last birthday party at Caroline's, the Comedy Club of New York. George Wallace was there and some other people, good people. His family was there. Did not really know that was going to be his last birthday on the planet as a human being. So I stayed in New York for a couple of days and meet up with Dick. And I finally tracked him down to a hotel in Manhattan, New York. It's near Madison Square Garden. And Dick said, okay, wait for me there. I waited for Dick about 12 to 13 hours, I think. I went to the Central Station, got me something to eat, and I came back and waited for hours in the lobby of the hotel, and the security came around like they were trying to make nice talk with me. Really was watching me, profiling me. But I was there for almost 12 hours. I think around midnight, Dick came. He came up to me and said, Brother Ron, that's you? I said, Dick, what's up, man? So it was like around midnight, and Dick was actually, he went out of the city to see a shaman, I believe. And he said it was an amazing experience. So he spent a lot of time out of the city. He did not realize he was going to be gone that long. He told me to wait at the hotel, so I waited. So we got a late night dinner at the bodega around the corner from the hotel. I ain't going to never forget this. And Dick, people talking about his diet. I think Dick had got some bologna and tuna. A little bit of tuna and bologna. People talking about, he don't eat anything. He's an Eritrean. He ate some little bit of meat that night. So it was like late around midnight, right? Like a lot of young guys, young black and brown guys hanging out around the bodega. And so one of the brothers recognized him. He said, man, you Baba Dick Gregory. You Baba Dick. And Dick said, yeah, I'm Baba Dick. Yeah. Let's go run. Let's go back to the hotel. We got our food. Dude follow us outside as we walk into the hotel. Dick was trying to talk to me about something. Dude was like stargazing. He was just like a puppy dog walking behind Dick. And Dick said, didn't I tell you, man, that we have shit to do? I'm here with my friend. We trying to have a dinner, and you interrupted me. You disrespected me, huh? I told you I ain't want to talk. You hear me? Y'all treat me like this, and I love y'all, talk to y'all, and y'all don't even treat Bill Cosby like this. He said something like that. Oh, Dick. And the dude, instead of getting mad, he was happy. It's like it made his night that Baba Dick Gregory cursed him out. And he lived for that. Like, he could tell his kids, like, man, that time I got cursed out by Baba Dick Gregory, man. He didn't get mad or upset. He's like, man, he loved it. He just walked away with a smile on his face. And that's Baba Dick Gregory. So I always tell people it's been an honor to get cussed out by Baba Dick Gregory. First, like, oh man, why he cursed me out? But like, he'll curse you out and then he'll say, well, how's the family? Like Dick was like that. He'll like, I won't never talk to you again. Then you call him or he call you, how's the family? He's like, what's wrong with this dude? What's wrong with this dude? Cause I think what Dick is, Dick didn't take anything. He didn't internalize a lot of that stuff. He was like, he lived in the moment. If he went off on you, if he liked you, he'd come back and talk to you. I know I talked to family members and friends of the family. They said, Dick really loves you. I said, how he love me? He said, man, he loves you, man. He was saying, like, Dick would go off on me like crazy, but he would always come back to talk to me and give me, encouragement and stuff like that. So everybody has different relationships with people. Everybody relationship at the same, like children. When you talk to parents of kids, of children, of several children, they will tell you, I always ask them, who's your favorite? And one guy gave a great response, wisdom. He said, Ron, I don't have no favorites. I just love my kids differently. They all have different love languages. So what works for one kid as a show of affection may not be what works for another kid as a show of affection. You understand? So Dick had his way of showing affection to some of his spiritual children, his legacy children, not his biological children. I'm thinking of, I'm one of his legacy children. Because I'm not his biological grandson or son. I'm his legacy, though. I'm saying because he had inspired me. He invested time in me. He counseled me on things in his own way. So I'm forever grateful for that relationship with Baba Dick Gregory. Now, people may have their own take on those relationships, but be honest with you, I I had friends I wanted to meet Baba Dick Gregory. They were afraid to meet him because they saw how he went off on me and other folks. They were interviewing him, and particularly he'd go off on black people, not white people, but on the brothers. And people like, man, you just take it from Baba Dick. I mean, he's an elder, man, and he is a real elder. He's done a lot of things for our people, but like I think about what would it be for me to be 80 something years old and I gave so much up. I gave up my career. I gave up being a father to my children, being a husband to my wife, in terms of being there every day and being invested in their everyday moments for a struggle that has not paid off for my people. And we feel like we're in a worse position than we were 50 plus years ago when I started. So that's something to think about. That's something really to think about. And have some compassion and empathy for a person like Baba Dick, who really was a warrior for black people. And a lot of times we don't really appreciate our warriors and our heroes and sheroes that fight for us. We like the bling, and the shiny, flashy lights of Hollywood and mainstream. So we forget about the ones who really was in the trenches and been consistently in the trenches from day one, from the get-go, who stayed dedicated even towards the end of their life, regardless of their predicament. So that's how I felt about Baba Dick. He loved me in his own way. He showed love to me by honoring my request for interviews, by putting me on his guest list for shows around the country, just by spending time with me, man, checking in. Like he told me I'm the feeder. He anointed me as the feeder. That night, I tell you, I spent like 13 hours at that hotel waiting for him. One of my best interview segments came out of that, wait. The good things come to those who wait sometimes. Because I spent the night with him after we ate our dinner. Next day, and Dick, all that energy, Dick was interesting because he was a sound sleeper. Once he fell asleep, he fell asleep. Nothing disturbed his sleep, which is interesting because Dick was known for his energy to stay up all night, to talk at length for hours at a time. But when he wanted to go to sleep, he had the ability to find a way to go to sleep, like a Zen thing. You know what I'm saying? So the next day we talked, and one of my greatest interview segments I ever did with Dick Gregory. It's called October Surprise. Just several days after his last birthday, he would celebrate his 84th birthday, and he was so prophetic. He talked about Trump, the election, all this stuff. And people thought he was a quack because he said there'll be no elections. Donald Trump will be the last president. Talk about some other things as well. And folks were dismissive when the elections came. And people don't understand it's still a selection, because how is it an election when the majority of people voted for Hillary, but the Electoral College said we're still going to go with Trump? You see how it works? So it really was not an election. It was still a selection. And Dick said that Donald Trump was going to be the last president. You look at numerology. It's 2016. You add it up, numerologically speaking, you add 2016 up, it adds up to 9. 9 is symbolizes endings in numerology. The number 9 symbolizes endings. For example, Kobe Bryant retired after the 2016 season, right? Kobe Bryant died in a plane crash earlier this year. How many people was on the plane? 9 people were on the plane. You see how it works? So it was an ending. Because even on that plane, Kobe Bryant's basketball legacy ended with his daughter dying with him. The one who was going to carry on his basketball legacy died with the father, the basketball icon, which in my mind feels, or my heart, is that he was murdered. And can I prove it to you all? No, but I know he was murdered just based on what I just told y'all. And he's buried in Corona Del Mar, right? Coronavirus. Come on, y'all. Wake up. But getting back to Baba Dick, he said that President Trump will be the last president. He's the 45th president-elect. 4 plus 5 is what? It's 9. What's going on right now, nearly 4 years later with Trump and the situation? And Dick also prophesied about Trump's shadow. That Trump's shadow disturbed him, right? Okay. People confuse that with him saying he's got issue with Trump. No, Trump ain't what disturbs it. It's what's coming behind Trump. What has come behind Trump since he's been elected president? That's what we should be focusing on. And we see all this stuff, the pandemic, whatever scamdemic we want to call it. But all this other stuff. The time he talked about the 2 sons and how time would be speeding up. Time is flying in 2020. Time is flying like it ain't nobody's business in 2020. I know people say time is an illusion, but that's the way things are moving so fast. A lot of amplified anxiety. So Dick saw all this in 2016 before he left. Check out the October 2016 surprise interview that I talked about that I waited like 13 hours to do for Bobby Dick. Actually, a little bit longer than that because I spent the night. We did it the next day. So almost a full day I waited to do that speech or that interview, excuse me, was well worth the wait. Then go to the one we did on April 4th, 2017. The last one we ever did when he was in Memphis, not that far away from when they crucified Dr. King. And the way he was so in that state, like he was in a trance state, like he knew that he was not going to be there the next year. I didn't know he was not going to be there by the end of the year, but he actually knew that he was not going to see the mountaintop with us. But he already seen something, and it's very prophetic. Even the way this shot is very like interesting. The last interview we ever did with Baba Dick Gregory, April 4th, 2017. And I just thank him for preparing me for this time. Like all that cursing out. I had friends that didn't want to meet him because they was afraid to get cursed out by him. But I think about it now, to get cursed out by Baba Dick Gregory and still be his friend for 6 years, that's a blessing. And what his son told me, and he told the world, basically Dick suffered from a lot of health ailments. He had many strokes that were undiagnosed over the years that affect his mood and behavior. He would actually starve himself, not necessarily just fast. A lot of people say fasting is good. Dick would actually starve for causes he believed in. He really pushed his bodies to the limit. So they had a effect on his health as well, on his circulatory system, right? His vessels and stuff. He also showed me the chronic injuries he sustained from running cross country, right? From running, he actually, like Forrest Gump, he ran across the country to bring awareness to human causes and stuff like that. And the doctor told him if he did that, it was going to affect his body in a chronic way. It's going to affect his body, his health for the long term. He actually, showed me the effects of him running across the country several times for a cause. And it stayed with him to the day he died. And like I said, 84 is 84, so he had a lot of wear and tear on his body. Basically what Dick did, he did a long version of revolutionary suicide. He basically just gave up his body to the cause. And I think what helped sustain him was the energy he got from the people, and also the way he lived his lifestyle in terms of how he ate and stuff like that. Because Dick will always tell people the three things that's killing people is lack of sleep, lack of exercise, and lack of water. There's lack of sleep, lack of exercise, and lack of water. That's what's really killing folks. All your things could be traced to that. And he also tell people that, you need to take vitamin D and L-arginine. It prevent heart attacks, among other things. Dick was a brilliant man, and he cared about our people. He wanted us to win. That's why he went out like a champ. And, there's a lot of confusion about what happened. But I'm saying, I appreciate Darren Muhammad's concern about what happened to Baba Dick. But, I talked to relatives, and they would tell me, well, where was all this concern when he was living, when he was struggling and stuff? Why were people not concerned when he was living, and they more concerned about how he died versus how he lived? What was all that concern then? And I said, that's reasonable. And the reason, Darren want to show, I'm going to talk about Darren Muhammad. Let's go ahead and talk about Darren Muhammad. He loved keeping my name in his mouth around the anniversary of Dick's passing. Or people would bring me up on his show, and I guess it rubs him the wrong way with folks singing my praises on his show. Because I had him on my show before, but he never had me on his show. And I wouldn't call, I give Darren this. He was one of the best tour guides I ever had in terms of visiting a city. 5 years ago, I met Darren Muhammad, Memorial Day, 2015. This is right after the Freddie Gray stuff went down the month before. He did a great job of showing me the city of Baltimore, one of the best tours I ever had. I mean, Darren should be taking people on tours of the city of Baltimore and charge now. And them a good fee to do so. He's a brilliant radio personality. He's a great. I think he's a great communicator, a great researcher. So he was born to do what he's doing. But and like I said, I enjoyed myself immensely. He took time out of his schedule to show me around Baltimore. And we was even connected with Freddie Gray's friends. Went to the spot where they killed Freddie Gray. visit the murals. He was a great host in terms of showing me around his city, and I will always appreciate that. And Dr. Dick Gregory, or Baba Dick Gregory, or Jegda Dick Gregory, spoke very highly of Brother Darren, and rightfully so. He's a very talented, brilliant guy. But my thing with Darren is that we should be able to agree to disagree and still be agreeable, man. It's like I ain't gonna see it the way you see it. Like, Dick said, you put on magic glasses. You got your magic glasses prescription. I got my magic glasses prescription, and we cannot force each other to see what the other sees, and then we got to be okay with that. And like, I didn't feel there was any funny business with Baba Dick. And I didn't. Darren felt that 3 years ago. And my thing is this, Darren, you right up the street. I'm in Tennessee, man. You right up the street from all this stuff. How come you didn't do your due diligence and just get out there and really start putting together a case for the people? Instead of waiting to the 1 year, the anniversary to talk about your disdain and to talk about the same stuff you talked about last year, and to keep on bringing up my name, because, bro, I don't see it like that. Because I'm looking at this 84-year-old man who's going across the country, going from the airport to the venue, that's wear and tear on anybody. But 84 is still 84, my man. And Dick had a lot of other health ailments going on. He had circulatory problems, all types of shit going on. No disrespect, but bro, if you really believe what you believe, make the case for. I actually investigated a hanging case on my own, being naive, speaking to the medical examiner, speaking to the coroner, speaking to the sheriff, speaking to the family, going on the site of the crime, taking photographs, all that stuff. Man, I did that stuff, and I believe in what I did, and I found out a hard truth that I had to, unpackage for a year. So I'm saying, bro, why you keep on trying to drag my name to, but then got the audacity talking about, well, I got a special relationship because Baba Dick Gregory never cussed me out. To be cursed out by Baba Dick Gregory is to be cursed out by Michael Jordan. And I saw The Last Dance. It kind of made me miss Dick Gregory. Michael Jordan going off his teammates, but they won championships. Dick Gregory was like a drill sergeant for me, bro. He's getting prepared me for this time right now, brother. So I thank the elder for taking time to curse me out when I need a good cussing out. And I don't believe in no dumb questions. I ask questions that other Negroes were afraid to ask, including you. I ask questions that needed to be asked. And Dick would tell me, man, why you ask me that on the air? And I let you guess which ones that you call was dumb questions that he would tell. You should have just talked to me before we got on the air. That's how we go. Because we got a relationship too, bro. You ain't the only one that have your Dick Gregory story. But, bro, you think you going to clown me on your show? Bro, man. Listen, man. I have respect for you, bro. You have a beautiful family. You have a sharp wit, but you don't know how to deal with people correctly, man. You burned all these bridges and you stuck on your own island. And in our business, it doesn't work like that. You got to build allies, build networks, okay? And like I said, I enjoy your show. And you do a lot to help reach other people by not burning these bridges, man. That's all I'm saying, man. I just don't believe you that you have all this concern about what really happened to Baba Dick when you right up in Baltimore, in the D.C. area. You right up there, man. You could have been doing all this work for 3 years instead of waiting on the one anniversary podcast to air your disdain and, you for everybody to turn their backs on you and stuff like that, bro. You gotta look at the man in the mirror. You love Michael Jackson so much. Look at the man in the mirror, bro, and ask some questions. You understand? Because you said that you was on Carl Nelson's show with Dick Gregory, but I have not heard one segment when Dick Gregory was on that you said anything in the segment. You could have been there. I don't know. I'm not. What I'm saying is, thank God I asked those dumb questions, because now we got videos to look at him not only cursing me out, but giving some explanations about some things. Okay? That's how I feel. I played my part. Like I said, a lot of folks met Dick Gregory through the work of We All Be TV. A lot of other platforms have benefited because we shared the information on how to get in touch with Baba Dick Gregory on We All Be TV. And naively, so maybe I should have kept to the play keep away and charge folks for the information. You know, so I didn't do that because my heart was in a different place. Now I know better as I get older. Hey, you gotta look out for yourself too. With that said, bro, ain't no love lost, but man, you don't even invite me on your show to talk crap about me. That says a lot about you, man. I never talk bad about you on my show. I might have criticisms of your show and how you conduct your show. Cause I'm saying, do I really want to be on the show if I can't be heard? And I ain't talking about be heard in terms of talking, but it's like, you know, you have guests on, we can't hear what they saying. You can't hear what Dr. Short's saying. We can't hear what Irritated Jeannie's saying. We can hear what you saying. Can't hear what the caller's saying, man. Yeah, I said it. It needs to be said. Because, I mean, I'm not going to come on there. I can't be heard, man. We can just hear you talking bad about me. I can't defend myself. What they said, bro, is all love. But, man, you the only one carrying the torch. Baba investing in everybody. Whoever listened to Baba Dick Gregory interviews, not just meet him in the flesh, but whoever or ate or broke bread with Baba, I did that too. But whoever listened to him and have been inspired by these interviews that we have conducted on behalf of Baba's legacy, they just as much as Baba's chosen as we are, bro. You know, the people who hear his words create worlds, right? The people who hear him talking, who never met the man in flesh, but they met his spirit, they are part of the legacy. That's why he never turned down a lot of interviews, because he wanted to amplify his message. He knew exactly what he was doing. He was a real elder. You got a lot of olders, but a lot of olders ain't elders. You know what I'm saying? A lot of old people ain't really elders. You got a lot of young elders, a lot of wisdom. But at the same time, we all need each other. No one man can stand alone as an island. Well, Brother Darren, you know, instead of you trying to tear me down once a year, you should, you know, we should be building 365, 24/7. You know, that's all I got to say, man, bro. I mean, I appreciate you, but, you know, you gonna clown me and not give me a chance to respond? Then sneak this, man. Like, dang, man, you gonna put it in the middle of all your stuff you talking about. But, bro, I can't take y'all seriously on the coast, man. I can't take, because y'all, look, y'all talking about how much y'all love Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, but she was suffering the last several years of her life. What was the troop, the cavalry, when she was alive? You know what I'm saying? We keep on talking we love the elders, but we don't respect ourselves. So how can we respect the elders when a lot of times we don't love ourselves? And this is a problem. This is a problem. So you should give me a chance to respond. If you're gonna talk about me, bro, I wasn't feeling you on that, and I'm not feeling you now. You know, if you believe that Dick Gregory was murdered, and like a friend of mine told me, a jegna of mine that I lost 5 years ago, the late great Emerson Abel Jr., he said, Brother Ron, Bron, nobody dies of natural death in show business. None of these deaths are natural, man. None of us are dying natural deaths. We all kind of like blood sacrifices for the system. You know, where they poison our water, our food, our air. They give us so-called legal drugs to make us sicker with side effects. We all dying from this system. So it's not, none of us are dying a natural death. It's like if I paraphrase Marcus Garvey, the modern lifestyle will be the death of the Negro. Modernity will be the death of the Negroes, so-called living in the cities, depending on them for your life, your blood, your sweat, your tears. This is getting all of us killed. So we all like blood sacrifices. Some are greater than others. But with that said, of course he didn't die a natural death. Nobody dies a natural death in a system that does not recognize your humanity. In a system where we just read a report where it said black babies are dying at the hands of white doctors for whatever reason. We know what reason it is. Look who they call the father of gynecology. J. Marion Sims, who destroyed the wombs of black women and thought that black women were not human, so they didn't need anesthesia. Look at where you in your hometown, Bmore, with Henrietta Lacks and Johns Hopkins University, where they took this woman's, biological property without her consent, made billions and billions of dollars on her biological property without her consent, and yet her family still living poor in Baltimore and can't afford adequate health care. How is this so? This is America. So with that said, of course, Dick did not die a natural death, but at the same time, what you gonna do about it? And it's not like you could do about it. Just do a podcast once a year, talking about how you was close to Dick Gregory and how he was your friend, how you was the chosen one, and that's fine because Dick had a lot of respect for you. But what is not fine is for you to try to trash me just try to big up yourself. That looks kind of bad, my man. There's no need to bring me low to bring you up. You know, we can all have our lanes that we can stay in. So with that said, it's all love, but I felt I had to respond, man, because I think it's interesting. It's hard to take a person that does a lot of talking seriously like yourself. You talking all this stuff. Why don't you try to reach out to people instead of burning bridges? Then if people can't communicate, they treat you funny after 3 years, then that is a problem. But I've never been on Carl Nelson show, man. I mean, I don't listen to Carl Nelson. That's every now and then on YouTube. My thing is this: you build your own platform, and they will come. Like the Field of Dreams, build it, and they will come. Darren, you got a lot of talent. Wish you well. But I think this is my last time I'll talk about this situation. You keep on throwing dirt on my name as it relates to Baba Dick Gregory, quote unquote mysterious death. And if you're really serious about that, you need to do your own documentary about that and be serious about it, man. Instead of all this, sneak dissing and all this other stuff you like to do with my name every year, and I think it's weird, bro. 'Cause I don't have no problem with you, but you have a problem with me, and you call it love. Okay. Must have really got into you. I don't know what you got this thing about me, man. 'Cause I don't talk bad about you on my programs, but you just have this need to talk bad about me. I even hooked you up with Dr. William Pepper, man. Dr. King's family attorney, James Earl Ray attorney, Dr. King's friend, to talk about the Dr. King assassination. And you gave me my props on that, but I think it bothers you when people mention me on your show for some reason. I don't know what that's about. I wish you well, bro. Baba Dick Gregory had love for all of us, and I thank God that he cursed me out. Had he cursed Nick Cannon out and Killer Mike and some other folks, T.I., if they got cursed out a little bit more, maybe if you got cursed out a little bit more, things would be different. But I'm glad that he chose to curse me out, because I stood in the gap for other people that will send me text messages and call and leave voicemails about questions that I asked. Those dumb questions that you said I asked were from the people. So I'm glad that I'll use my platform to inform not only myself, but also the people who are afraid to ask the questions. I'm glad I pushed Baba's buttons. The fact that I could push his buttons for several years and he still come back to me and call me Brother Ron and anoint me as the feeder showed that he was testing me and creating. I remember Dick Gregory told me this. He said, "Ron, we are soldiers in a universal war. If you're not up for the assignment, get the fuck out the army." That's what he told me. Get the fuck out the army. And I'm in this war. I'm a universal soldier, right? And I've been battle tested. I've been trained by the best. So, brother, with all due respect, if you ain't gonna have me on your show to tell my side, you don't need to be talking about what you think Brother Ron think about this. I'm telling you right now, this is what Brother Ron thinks. I think Brother Ron thinks that you need a show and tell, and stop it with all this passive aggressive stuff you like to do. That's what Brother Ron thinks. But with that said, I thank Baba Gregory for blessing you with his friendship. Y'all had a special bond, of course. And I'm glad that he understood your value. And that's a good thing. So I appreciate you, brother. I wish you well. Wish you continued success. And I always want to thank Baba for letting me understand the value of standing up for yourself and speaking truth to power, and sometimes pissing folks off, because that's needed. Because we all just can't get along just to get along, just because we might be heading towards the wrong way. And if nobody don't say, hey, we're going the wrong way, then everybody's doomed. Okay? So we need people like that. And I want to thank everybody who's blessed me with support over the years as it relates to the We All Be movement. Like I said, it's been a lot of trial and error, but like a mentor or Jegna once told me, Run, the only way you fail is if you stop trying. So I'm going to keep on trying, because I love my people, I love myself, and I know that the best is yet to come. And like I said, this is the last time I'll speak on this publicly as it relates to Brother Darren Muhammad. But I want him to know that, when the next year comes around, have some results about what you're talking about. Have more than what you just say as hearsay and all this conjecture. Have some facts. And I would encourage you to make a documentary, a real documentary about why you feel that Dick Gregory was murdered. And I'll be open to listening to what you have to say. I'll be open to helping you promote it and have you on the show. But other than that, man, we good. I have no ill will towards you, bro. You have a beautiful family. I just wanted to clear it up from my point of view. I just can't let that sit well, man, because basically you trying to, slander my name and stuff because you was mad because I just didn't agree with your assessment of the situation. Okay? It's okay, man. You have a beautiful family. Enjoy your family. You got a great radio show. Okay? Enjoy that. You don't need my help with anything. You got help. Okay? Okay, that's great. So, well, I'm glad I got that out. I'm 40 years old, y'all. I just can't hold that stuff back like I used to. And y'all can say this is petty. I don't think it's petty to defend yourself. It's like when a person respond on my post and I respond back with a witty and clever thing, y'all say you're not fighting fair. I say I'm not. This is my platform. I should be able to say what I want to say too. I don't delete nobody's comment, but I notice now on YouTube that they're trying to censor me on my community posts. I can't post certain things no more. If I say certain words, they delete the whole post. Now they stopping me from posting anything. That means I'm being very effective. I never trust the numbers on the social media sites with the likes and views. I know I'm very effective at what I do because I walk outside and people let me know. Or they say, Brother Ron, I saw the show you did. And a lot of times, people like to lurk on my social media platforms and not give me my propers. But I know people are watching and listening because, things have changed. Narratives have changed. And I'm appreciative of that. So I'm going to stay positive energy, nothing but love, no animosity towards anybody. Just had to clarify some things. That's all. And I did it in the spirit of Baba Dick Gregory. He could go out for you in a second, and then he'll say, how's the family? How's the family? Love you, man. Love you. Next time. So that's how I feel. Love you all. Next time. Yeah, talking about Dick Gregory, because people talking about Kanye West running in 2020. 2020 is a crazy year. The year of hindsight. But Dick Gregory I actually ran for president. He was trying to run for Democratic nominee or Republican nominee like Jesse Jackson did, Democratic nominee in 84 and 88. He actually ran directly for the presidency. He was the first black man to run for the presidency of the United States back in 68. And voting is interesting because, they claim that Dick Gregory got 9 million votes in 1968 in the state of Pennsylvania. But the powers that be said it was wrong, it was a mistake. And I'm saying, okay, that was 1968. Dick could have possibly won the election, but we'll never know because the powers that be said they made a mistake. So you think about 2000, Gore v. Bush or Bush v. Gore, the hanging Chad in Florida. Think about 2004, the battle for Ohio, again with Bush, this time against John Kerry. And then you go to 2020, where Donald Trump said that there may not be an election because the mail-in ballots might be rigged. It can't be trusted. The postmaster general, somebody at the post office said they might not be able to get all the mail-in ballots in time. They holding up the money in Congress, all this bull crap. And it's funny that do they really count the votes or they count the votes when they want to count the votes? But Dick Gregory, pioneer, he ran directly for the presidency of the United States. It was the first time a black person did it in the United States history. So that's something he don't get credit for. He wasn't running for a nomination once again. But Kanye, to me, has that spirit of Dick Gregory. You understand what I'm saying? Like he's trying to bring attention to the issues that ails black America. And he's the only candidate I see doing that in the spirit of Dick Gregory. The fact that he will bring up Dr. Claude Anderson book, Powernomics, and present it to Biden and Trump and their people shows me that Kanye, at the end of the day, will have freed more slaves than Harriet Tubman. Yes, Kanye West will have freed more people than Harriet Tubman ever did. And that's no disrespect to Harriet Tubman, but I won't be surprised 4 years from now that Kanye may be running for president. Look at what his wife, Kim Kardashian, is doing to get black people out of jail. Whether you love or hate them, I respect that. She's working on C Murder now to get them out of jail. My hope is that they could work on H. Rap Brown, the man formerly known as H. Rap Brown, the last chairman of SNCC, Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, and they could get him out of jail. Whisper that in Trump's ear as he pardons Marcus Mosiah Garvey as well. So one can only dream, but you cannot have a Kanye or a Jesse Jackson without Dick Gregory in 68. So Dick Gregory on that term, Dick Gregory's phenomenal. And then you look at Dave Chappelle, who has the spirit of Dick Gregory's social wit, as far as social commentary. He's up in Dick Gregory's lane. He got next. Dick Gregory's legacy is so vast that he need more than one representative for a said legacy. So I call us Baba's chosen. We all got a part to play in amplifying the message and the legacy of Baba Dick Gregory. So that's what I want to do. I'm gonna keep it positive for the most part, but I gotta show the pros and cons of this thing. I got to go at somebody just out of respect for my name. That's all, and it's all love. It's light, but it's serious. But yeah, this is why it's so important to support new black media that gives you substance over style sometimes, because substance is needed to survive, to sustain. So this is what I love about We All Be, because we all be in it to win it. See how it works? Somewhere. I don't think I really could say too much of anything. I think I did enough. For right now, if you like the words from Brother Herb, please spread the word. YouTube channel We All Be TV. If you'd like to support the movement, knowledge is the currency of the universe, but we need help to create an infrastructure to keep it going, to sustain it. Brother Ron got bills like everybody else, and I do this for the love of the people. You could cash out your love at R2C2H2. That's R2C2H2. You could Venmo your love at R2C2H2. You could Google Pay or PayPal your love at R2C2H2 at gmail.com. You can also buy Artivist Art at R2C2H2.com. You can wear Artivist Art. We got our Teespring shelf below the description box. Get some of them great shirts. We got a couple of Baba Dick Gregory themed shirts available on the site, R2C2H2's Place. Go to that Teespring. And I want to thank y'all once again for listening. I think this is cool. I got more shows coming. We all be in it to win it. Know that. And where's the great Duke Ellington? We love you madly. Keep on producing and pushing. One love.
Hey, everybody, this is Brother Ron. I am asking you all to do me a big favor. Think about supporting the We All Be movement. Your donation is tax deductible. The We All Be Group Incorporated is a recognized 501c3. And I'm just asking you all because I want to keep on bringing y'all quality work through the way that I know how to do best. And I'm going to sing my praises and toot my horn. A lot of y'all were not hip to Dick Gregory until Brother Ron brought him on the We All Be platform, until that jingle review we did. Y'all seen another side of Judge Joe Brown, and Judge Joe Brown's message has been amplified. But it was We All Be that brought Judge Joe Brown to y'all back in 2014. And so many others. And we covered so many things. So help us out so we can help you all. Peace.